Kodak Black's career has just slammed into its biggest crisis yet after a new felony arrest in Florida started shutting down his upcoming shows. With venues already pulling out and his tour hanging by a thread, the pressure is building fast. But the real shock is the exact venues now banning him and the massive price he could pay if he ignores. The court. On a November night in 2025, police officers in Orlando responded to something that sounded routine at first: reports of gunfire. The case traces back to an incident in November 2025 when officers from the Orlando Police Department responded to reports of gunfire near Children's Safety Village. That's a non-profit educational facility, a place designed to teach kids about safety. What officers found when they pulled up was anything but educational. According to an arrest affidavit cited by multiple outlets, officers encountered a group gathered around several luxury vehicles, including a Lamborghini SUV and a BMW. Two idling vehicles, a group of people standing nearby. Police reportedly said they smelled marijuana as they approached the vehicles, prompting a search. And that search is what started everything. A search of the first vehicle, a BMW SUV, turned up cannabis and a pink pill containing MDMA, police said. They also uncovered suspected narcotics, roughly $37,000 in cash, and documents with Capri's name inside the second vehicle. This one, a Lamborghini SUV. The name Capri, Bill Capri, is a legal name of Kodak Black. And right there, standing near those vehicles, was Kodak himself. But here's the detail that makes this story twist. The rapper was not arrested at the scene in 2025. Officers noted what they found, documented it, and everyone went home. No cuffs, no booking, no charges filed that night. Instead, the case appears to have unfolded over several months before formal charges were filed in 2026. That lag is the fulcrum of this entire saga. Months passed. Kodak kept recording. He kept performing. He dropped the single Love Me Not and went about his business like that November night was behind him. Then the lab results came back. The rapper was only arrested after an official report generated last month confirmed the MDMA weighed 34g, which is well over the limit of 14g. Under Florida law, that weight doesn't just trigger a possession charge, it triggers a trafficking charge, one of the most severe categories of drug offenses in the state. Under Florida law, trafficking charges are frequently tied to the quantity of substance allegedly possessed rather than proof of intent to sell. In other words, a person can face a trafficking charge based on statutory thresholds tied to weight alone. That distinction matters a lot because the word trafficking suggests one thing to the public, and the legal system defines it differently. On May 6, 2026, Kodak Black was arrested in Orange County, Florida for drug trafficking of MDMA. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He voluntarily turned himself into police. The following day, he appeared in court on charges relating to the December 2023 incident and was released on $75,000 bond. For a man who has been in and out of police custody for over a decade, the arrest itself wasn't the shocking part. What came next, the bail conditions, is what changed the equation entirely. When Kodak walked out of that Florida jail after posting $75,000 bail, he wasn't walking into freedom. He was walking into a cage made of court-ordered rules. According to new court docs obtained by TMZ, the judge imposed special conditions on Kodak's release from jail, requiring him first and foremost to stay away from illegal drugs. That part, on paper, sounds standard, but the judge didn't stop there. The judge also ordered Kodak not to have any contact with his associates, or return to the alleged crime scene, or even carry a gun. No contact with associates. Think about what that means for a rapper, whose entire existence is built around his crew, his entourage, his inner circle. Sniper Gang isn't just a label name. It's a lifestyle, a family, a web of relationships. And now a judge has drawn a line between Kodak and the very people who move through his world every day. Among these conditions, Kodak Black is prohibited from having any contact with illegal drugs and is barred from communicating with certain associates who have been named in the investigation. Named associates, specific people the court has identified as being connected to the November 2025 incident. That's not a general warning. That's a targeted restriction that bleeds into every aspect of Kodak's daily operations. Now layer that on top of the fact that Ticketmaster currently shows no upcoming concerts for Kodak Black. Ticketmaster states, "We're sorry, but we couldn't find any upcoming concerts for Kodak Black. Please check back soon." Shazam similarly notes that Kodak Black doesn't have any upcoming concerts right now, and his most recent live shows were in 2026. The math here isn't complicated. When a court tells you to stay away from your associates, stay off drugs, and not carry a firearm, and you're a rapper who tours with an entourage, performs in venues with notoriously loose backstage environments, and has historically been around firearms, the practical effect is you can't tour. Not because the judge wrote no concerts in the order, but because every single condition creates a scenario where performing live becomes a minefield of potential violations. This is exactly the kind of quiet ban that doesn't make headlines the same way a judge slamming a gavel does, but it's just as effective, maybe more so, because Kodak can't even argue against it directly. No single condition explicitly says he can't perform, but together they form a wall. And for a man who just missed a concert in Midland, Texas, in February 2026, due to a flight delay, and then showed up at another venue to perform for free because he felt bad about letting fans down, a man who clearly wants to be on stage, this is a devastating blow. Bradford Cohen has been Kodak Black's attorney through some of the most turbulent chapters of the rapper's life, and he came out swinging. Immediately after this latest arrest, his lawyer, Bradford Cohen, in a statement to TMZ, called Kodak's arrest a total joke, emphasizing that he was nowhere near the drugs when police recovered them. Not near the bag, not in the car, not holding anything. According to Cohen, the prosecution's entire case rests on a thread so thin you could snap it by breathing on it. In his statement obtained by TMZ, they reportedly mentioned that Kodak's arrest was a coordinated surrender related to a November 2025 case in which a police officer searched a vehicle with one passenger who was not Kodak, one passenger. And that passenger was someone else entirely. The car where police found the MDMA, the $37,000 in cash, the pink bag. Kodak wasn't inside it. So how did they connect him to the drugs? Police reportedly found a bag containing a bottle of prescription cough syrup, which authorities alleged had Kodak's fingerprint on it. A fingerprint on a bottle of prescription cough syrup. Not on the MDMA, not on the cash, on a cough syrup bottle. The attorney reportedly argued that fingerprint evidence referenced in the case pertained to a legally prescribed medication bottle found in the vehicle, and not the alleged MDMA itself. And then there was the social media angle. According to an affidavit, the charges stemmed from a November 2025 incident in Orlando in which police searched his vehicle and found items that matched an Instagram post he made prior to the incident. Police also claimed that certain accessories and personal effects found in the vehicle appeared to match items previously seen on Kodak's social media. Essentially, police looked at Kodak's Instagram, so items that looked similar to what was found in the vehicle, and used that as part of their basis for connecting him to the scene. Cohen called the trafficking charge one with a weak legal basis and described the filing as a common theme when it comes to arresting Kodak. That last phrase, a common theme, carries a weight that goes beyond legal strategy. It's an accusation that law enforcement has developed a pattern when it comes to Kodak Black, that police see his name, see his history, and reach for the most severe charge available. Whether that's fair or unfounded, it's the frame Cohen is building around this case. Cohen has publicly said he expects to fall apart, disputing the prosecution's theory of possession. And to Cohen's credit, the facts as currently known do raise questions. If Kodak wasn't in the car and his fingerprint was on a legal prescription bottle, rather than the illegal substance, how strong is the state's position really? According to court records and local reporting, Kodak has since pleaded not guilty and requested a jury trial. He's not taking a deal. He's not negotiating behind closed doors. He wants 12 people in a box to decide, but none of that changes the immediate reality. While the case plays out, which could take months, if not longer, Kodak remains under those bail conditions. And those conditions effectively keep him off stage. To understand why this latest arrest carries the weight it does, You have to look backward because Kodak Black's legal history isn't a footnote. It's a co-author of his career. At 18 years old, Kodak was beginning to make waves in the Florida hip-hop world after his breakout hit SKRT debuted on Drake's Over Beats One radio station. That's when he faced his first arrest in the spotlight. That's the cruel irony of Kodak's timeline. The moment he started getting famous is the exact moment he started getting arrested. Kodak, born Dayusan Octave in Pompano Beach, was arrested for assault, robbery, kidnapping, false imprisonment, driving with a suspended license, and possession of marijuana after being accused of forcing several people into his car because he suspected someone broke into his Broward County home. That was October 2015. He was barely out of his teens. 2 months later, another arrest. He was later arrested once again on December 25, 2015 in St. Lucie County on charges relating to drugs. Then came 2016 and the charges escalated dramatically. Kodak Black was accused of rape in 2016 and faced the charge of first-degree criminal sexual conduct in South Carolina. He was given a plea bargain in 2021 to the lesser offense of assault and battery and was sentenced to probation. That case followed him for 5 years before it resolved. Simultaneously, he was racking up more arrests in Florida. In April 2016, Kodak Black was arrested in Hallandale Beach, Florida, and charged with possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, possession of marijuana, and fleeing from officers. The following month, in May 2016, he was arrested in Broward County, Florida, and charged with armed robbery and false imprisonment. Then came 2017, and despite everything, his career soared. His debut album, Painting Pictures, landed at number 3 on the Billboard Top 200. Cardi B built her breakout smash Bodak Yellow on Kodak's signature flow from No Flocking. He was everywhere musically and everywhere legally. By 2019, the federal government got involved. On May 11, 2019, while preparing to perform at Rolling Loud Miami, Kodak Black was arrested on firearm charges before he could perform. Right before he was supposed to walk on stage at one of the biggest rap festivals in the world. Agents pulled him before his set. In 2019, he was arrested for making false statements to possess weapons and was sentenced to nearly 4 years in federal prison. Nearly 4 years. For a rapper who was 22 years old at the time. That's an eternity. And then the presidential intervention. Then President Donald Trump commuted Kodak's prison sentence on January 20th, 2021, as part of a wave of clemency grants. In his last moments in the White House, the president's press team pointed to the rapper's past charitable donations as justification for ending his prison term early. Freedom, a second chance. And for a while, it looked like Kodak might actually use it. In July 2025, Kodak was awarded a key to the city of Pompano Beach, Florida, his hometown. A key to his own city. He'd given back, donated to families, spoken to youth football teams, funded scholarships. After several run-ins with the law, perhaps is determined to leave his legal trouble in the past as evidenced by a pep talk he shared with a youth football team about the dangers of drugs in 2024. But December 2023 brought another blow. On December 7th, 2023, Kodak Black was arrested in Plantation, Florida for possession of cocaine and tampering with evidence. Black was found with 4.1 g of cocaine after he tried to ingest the drug to avoid the officer discovering them. He bonded out of jail after the incident, but it was reported on December 16, 2023 that he was once again back in federal custody for violating probation. Every step forward had been met with 2 steps back into a courtroom. So, here we are, May 2026. Kodak Black is 28 years old, legally free on bail, but practically trapped. This all threw a wrench into Kodak Black's career moves, which recently included the new single Love Me Not. Music is still flowing, ideas are still being recorded, but the stage, that electric space where Kodak has always been at his most alive, is off limits for now. The charge is serious. Under Florida law, drug trafficking allegations can carry mandatory prison sentences depending on the quantity involved, even when prosecutors do not explicitly allege large-scale distribution. Mandatory minimums. That means if Kodak is found guilty, a judge might not even have discretion to give a lighter sentence. The number on the scale determines the number of years behind bars. That point has quickly become the center of the defense strategy, because prosecutors now have the task of connecting Kodak to the drugs and cash recovered during the search. The question the jury will eventually have to answer is straightforward. Was the MDMA his? Cohen says no. The prosecution says the fingerprint on the cough syrup bottle, the Instagram posts matching items in the car, and the documents bearing Capri's name found in the Lamborghini all say yes. Meanwhile, the ripple effects extend beyond Kodak himself. His arrest comes less than a month after the mother of one of his children, Jemiah Broomfield, was arrested on charges, including trafficking methamphetamine, resisting an officer without violence, and driving with a suspended license. The legal storm isn't just surrounding Kodak. It's engulfing people in his orbit. As of April 5, 2019, a concert promoter filed a lawsuit against Kodak Black for failing to appear at his concerts. Nicholas Fitz, the promoter, claims that Kodak Black was contractually obliged to perform for him on March 3, 2017, in New York, but did not show up. Fitz then rescheduled it for April 2017, and Kodak Black failed to appear once more. Then on a third makeup date, Kodak Black once more failed to appear. Fitz stated that the incident caused him over $500,000 in losses and hurt his reputation. Promoters have been burned by Kodak's legal problems before. This latest situation only reinforces the financial risk of booking him. Even if a venue wanted to book Kodak tomorrow, the insurance liability alone, given his history and current legal status, would make most promoters think twice. And that's the unspoken part of this ban. It's not just the court conditions, it's the market. Venues see the headlines, promoters see the rap sheet, insurance companies see the risk, and slowly, quietly, the phone stops ringing. Kodak Black's career has been marked by periods of mainstream success as well as public controversies and legal issues. Although he remains as a largely successful artist and a high-profile figure within the hip-hop scene in Florida, his career has been marred by legal troubles that predate his musical career. That sentence reads like it was written by someone who's been updating it for years because they have. The Wikipedia page grows, the charges pile up, and the same cycle repeats itself with a different substance, a different county, a different set of arresting officers. The case highlights how Florida trafficking laws often hinge on the quantity of a substance rather than proof of intent to distribute. While Kodak's legal team argues the evidence linking him to the drugs is weak, if Cohen is right, if this case really does fall apart, then Kodak could theoretically be back on stage in months. The conditions would be lifted. The touring infrastructure could restart. The fans would show up because they always do. But if the case holds, if a jury finds that proximity plus fingerprint plus social media posts equals possession, then Kodak Black isn't just banned from performing, he's potentially headed back to prison. This time on a charge that carries mandatory years, and for a man whose entire adult life has been spent either on stage or in a courtroom, that clock is running out. For longtime followers of Kodak's career, this latest case feels painfully familiar. His legal history spans more than a decade, and every new arrest seems to bring the same mix of controversy, confusion, and courtroom debate. The talent was never in question. 7 albums hits that changed the sound of Florida rap, a flow so distinctive that one of the biggest songs of the last decade, Bodak Yellow, was literally named after him. The talent has never been enough to keep Kodak Black out of the system, and right now the system has him exactly where it seems to want him: out of sight, off stage, and under its thumb. Whether that's justice or overreach depends entirely on who you ask.